33 years, the Lord laid on my heart. I don't know where it came from because I wasn't thinking in these terms, but it was on my heart that I was in my 80s and this work needs to continue. So I'd asked the congregation to let's all pray that God would send us a young man on fire for the Lord that would be willing to take this work and take it forward. So that's what we were doing. And my nephew, who had came up under us, went out in the world and sold his wild oats and whatnot, had been born again and was working with Creflo Dollar in Atlanta. Came back to Canton, sent me a letter and told me he was there and he was willing to come and do anything that. And so he started working with us. Pretty soon he became an elder, and then down the line he became our associate. And on January 1, 2016, without me ever thinking about this, ever planning, having any notes, anything, it came out of my mouth. Today, Leroy is going to become senior pastor. That's what happened. He's senior pastor now. I'm pastor emeritus or whatever that is. I'm saying
I can't wait to be one of those myself.
I'm saying that to just say how faithful God is. I mean, so I tell folks all the time, look, it's not complicated. It's not complicated. It's either real or it isn't real. If it's real, it's worth pursuing all the way. If it isn't real, then go out and enjoy a lot of the stuff the world has out there for you. But just know that that's short-lived. We're talking about life in here as eternal. So, you know, that's my simple message. It's either real or it isn't. If it's real, it's worth pursuing. If it isn't real, then go ahead.
That's one of his 10 or 15. Can you tell us about the first time you saw Mom?
Oh, I thought I told you that.
No.
Okay. The first time I saw Mom was in downtown Canton, getting off the bus. She and her cousin Margaret were together. She was 17 years old then, I think 16. Anyhow, the friend that I was with, he knew who they were. I had never seen her before. And he said, that's those Bradley girls. Her maid name was Bradley. And I knew that day that I was going to marry her, that she was going to be my wife. And then I told Pastor Litton our testimony how God worked that out to prove to me that he was in it. Because she skipped a grade in Alabama where her parents had sent her during the summer. She skipped a grade that put her in the same grade we were in. And so when we started high school, because I had seen her between that break between elementary school and high school. When we started high school, we were in the same class. That's how I got to know her and hang out with her. And she tricked me into marrying me. But this lady is, I said she was beyond special. And I mean beyond special.
Grandma, say something to
Grandma.
you. Don't understand that. Always let him do the talking. So your turn, just listen. Say something.
And would you like a box for your salad as well, ma'am? Yeah. Okay. Oh, I also forgot to ask this table. Everyone was eligible for the free half slices at this table. All of them are going to be listed on this back page right here. I'm going to go ahead and get the cake flavors for you all as well, so you can barking those up. And we also have the cake as well, which you can go ahead and bring that in here as well. Yeah. Of course. All right, I'll be right back.
What did you do the first time you saw him? I didn't like him. Why? What was his name? Well, we were in one class. No, he would come out of one class in high school, and then he would give me his papers, and I'd go in. So we started seeing each other. You know, like we after church, he came to our church too. He was real close friend with my first cousin Howard. And then we started going out, like taking, after church, after evening service for the youth, we would go out to eat. And we all crowded a car. And he would ask me, what do you want to eat? And I would tell him. I would get, a little hamburger and a drink, and I just went on. And then I'd say, what do you want? He says, I don't want anything. I found out after we got married, he didn't have any more money.
You took it all.
But anyhow, we just started, because we weren't allowed to date. But we would, in our youth group from church, we would go around, different things, go skating. He was an excellent skater. That's about it.
So, Grandma, what would you say is the key to a successful marriage that you can speak to the rest of the family about? What is the key?
Well, they say marriage is like half and half, but we always say it's really whole for both of them. 100 and 100. I'm all out for him, I go out for him, and he goes out for me. And it's, you have disagreements, but my mother always told us, you never go to bed angry. You have to make up before you go to bed, so that worked.
I thought of something else I wanted to share, 2 things. Mom and Dad went through growth track, so they took the spiritual gifts test. So Dad's was full of leadership, pastoral leader, all leadership. And I honestly was very surprised because I always have known my dad to be very gentle, kind of soft-spoken. I never saw him as a leader, but then when he tells these stories, he started stocking shelves in the MP and then became the manager. Then city came for him. So we always just have this quiet, gentle way, but always a leader. And then Mom's spiritual giftings all came out. Helps, mercy, all the things that enabled her to just help him do what God had called him to do. Because even when he started the church, she was like, she didn't really want to do that. And then he wanted her to play the piano. She was terrified. She don't want but she did it for 23 years. Every Sunday she was nervous. Yeah. And I'd come home and visit, please come play the organ so you can cover up my piano playing. And to me that is so huge that like you said, you guys do 100. So he needed you to play and you did it. The other thing I thought about, I wanted to say is something I was going to say earlier and forgot. When Mom and Dad took us down to Alabama to the homestead. This would be her grandparents' home in Alabama. It has really impacted my life because there was a church that had been built on the property. So that told me, because I always looked up to my grandmother and grandfather, they started that church in Canton. But when I went to Alabama and I saw the church on that property, I said, my grandparents' parents, that's a great-grandparent. Somebody had a heart for the local church, that they built a church on the property, and they called the church, well, the historians, because now it's kind of a, what do you call it when they preserve?
Historical landmark.
The historical landmark. The church is still standing. It's a little small church, and they call it the Colored Church at Antioch. But always in my heart, that told me there was a tremendous lineage. Great-grandparents, grandparents migrated north and started a church. And then it was so interesting to me that as the lineage went down, the Lord sent Dad into this family. And her dad, my grandfather, took him under his wing. And I have so many fond memories of my grandfather calling our home every Sunday morning. Every Sunday, we'd all be asleep and the phone would ring. And my mom's dad, we called him Poppy, he would always say, get those children up, get them to Sunday school. He was the superintendent of the Sunday school. And he would be there early, open the doors, and he wanted us in our classrooms every Sunday. And those were the years that Poppy poured into Dad as a young man, and then Dad ended up keeping that local church alive. And now Leroy's got it alive. So I see the hand of God all the way from Alabama to now. And that has formed a passion in me to really see the value of keeping that local church alive so others can be equipped to do the work of the ministry and find the Lord. So there's lineage here to be continued. So for all the young men in the room, who's next? Yeah. All right. Happy, perfect time.
Did we want to take some pictures of the cakes before, or of the cake
Yeah,
before
yeah.
we get?
Yeah.
No problem. I'll get some plates.
Let them get in front of them, Sharon. Do what?
Besides,
I'll just put it in between.